UNC-Chapel Hill Board of Trustees. As chair of the committee, I must remind all members of their duty under the State Government Ethics Act to avoid conflicts of interest and appearances of conflict of interest. If you know of any conflict or appearance of conflict with respect to any matter coming before the committee today, please identify it at this time. Vinay, Patrick, any conflict?
Nope.
Okay, hearing none, I'll ask Chris McClure, please call the roll, please.
Chair Bolick,
Present.
Mr. Valentine,
Here.
Mr. Patel.
Here.
Chairman, you have a quorum.
Great, thank you. So the agenda for this special meeting was provided to the committee via onboard. Links of a copy to the agenda for the special meeting are also posted electronically on the board's website and the university's open meetings calendar. I'd ask every committee member to refer to that agenda now, please. Our first item of business today is to consider nominations for the office of board chair, vice chair, and secretary for the 2024-2025 board term. Our slate of recommendations will then be submitted to the full board for consideration. First, do I have any nominations? I would, as chair of the board, I would nominate John Pryor as chair, Malcolm Turner vice chair, and Ramsey White as secretary for the 2024 board term.
Second.
Are there any additional nominations? Do I have a second to that motion?
Second.
I have a second from Trustee Patel. Any discussion? Any additional? I've had a chance, just so with a second, any discussion or debate, I would say I've had a chance to talk to most every other member of the board, and I don't think there's any objections to that. Trustee Valentine, have you heard anything different?
No, I didn't get a chance to talk to Malcolm. I assume everybody's good. I'm fine with
I
it.
have. Yeah. Okay, great. So hearing no additional nominations, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, like sign. Okay, great. That's good. Next item for agenda on the agenda is to consider nominations for assistant secretary for the 2024-2025 board term. Our recommendation will of course be forwarded to the full board. Do I hear a motion to approve? Do I hear a nomination for assistant secretary?
Nominate Chris McClure.
Okay, I'll accept that from Trustee Patel. The nomination of Chris McClure. Any additional nominations? And I'll take that in the form of a motion, or you're offering that in the form of a motion to make a motion that Chris McClure be sent to the full board for consideration to be assistant secretary for the 24-25 board term.
So moved.
Is that all right? And do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, I have a second from Trustee Valentine. Any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries unanimously from the committee. Thank you. Our final item of business is to consider nominations for 2 seats on the Endowment Fund Board of Trustees. As with the board officers, our slate of recommendations will then be submitted to the full board for consideration. I know that I have talked to both Trustee Patel and Trustee Valentine and other members of the board with respect to this. Just for way of introduction, the endowment board is populated by 9 individuals. 3 of those individuals maintain their seat on the endowment by virtue of their position with the university, one being the chancellor, the chair of the board, and then traditionally the chair of the Budget and Finance Committee of the Board of Trustees. 6 additional members of the endowment board are selected at large. They are staggered 3-year terms, so every year 2 members of the endowment board are selected. The significance of being selected as a member of the endowment board carries with it not only being seated as a member of the endowment board, which oversees and has fiduciary responsibilities for the university's endowment. Members of the endowment are automatically, by way of bylaws, put on the board of the governing board of the foundation, and they have fiduciary responsibilities with the entity called the foundation, which currently has assets in excess of $750 million. Consequently, every member of the endowment board is also seated as a member of the Chapel Hill Investment Fund, which is the entity, the associated entity created to manage not only the money privately held by the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, but other system universities and the system's money itself. The system itself has an amount of money that the Chapel Hill Investment Fund manages, also manages the money that is held by the hospital and the health system. So with that, I would nominate David Carroll, who has been a member of the endowment board, sits on that board currently. He is slated, in full disclosure, to become the chair of the Chapel Hill Investment Fund. I would nominate him to be reappointed to an additional 3-year term. There is another slot that is open by virtue of John Townsend being not eligible to be reappointed to that slot because of term limitations based on the bylaws. I would nominate Scott Weary of Atlas Capital, Moorhead Scholar, graduate, University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Is fantastic money, knowledge, and brings great asset. Nominate him to take a seat on the endowment board, and then by virtue of that, on the foundation and the Chapel Hill Investment Fund. Do I hear a second to that?
Second.
And a second from Trustee Patel. Is there any further discussion on that? Great. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. That motion carries unanimously from the committee. With that concludes all the business of the nominating committee. I believe that's right, Ms. Pratt.
Correct.
Chancellor Roberts, you have anything you wanted to add?
No.
Okay, great. Well, with that being said, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I have a motion from Trustee Patel, and I have a second from Trustee Valentine. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we stand adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.